Huddlers. Good morning, all you Huddleites. It is Wednesday where we talk about everything communication and relationships. But first, I have a little story to tell you about a friend of mine. She fell in her own doggone driveway. But here's what she did, which I couldn't believe. She contacted the insurance company and tried to make a claim. And the adjuster came out and he inspected that driveway. And you know what he said? No way, lady. You know what he told her? Is your own asphalt. You know, it's my day. I don't have a co-host here to supervise me as Dr. Monica today, so. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Daily Huddle. The Daily Huddle is Monday through Friday, a beautiful habit, the best way to start your day, in my humble opinion. And on Wednesdays, I and Kathryn Sabol are your co-hosts. Well, she's not here today, and I am my very own guest. So hold on to your seat. I do have a story for you, but first we are going to ask a few questions to get us warmed up. So I think I will start with Gio. Good morning, Gio. Where are you?
Good morning. Thank you. I am next to here on the other side of here, and I happen to be here.
That's right. There's nowhere else to be, right? But right here. Good morning, my beautiful friend, Andrea, the lady I finally got to hug a few weeks ago. Tell me. How are you and what are you grateful for?
Tara, I am the way I say I am. And even though I sound congested, I am strong. That's the way I say I am. And I'm grateful for doctors. That's who I'm grateful for this morning. Mm-hmm.
I feel that. I'm sorry you're not feeling well. I'm so happy that you're here. Hey, Maxwell, tell me, my brother, what time is it? And who are you going to hug today?
So I've been here enough times to know that the time is right now. It's not yesterday and it's not tomorrow. And tonight I'm going to hug my girlfriend because I miss her.
Oh, I love it. She's a lucky lady. I'll see you later today too. So sending you virtual hugs. So I have a lot to cover this morning. I'm going to dig right in and again, welcome you to Wednesdays at the Daily Huddle, where we talk about communication and relationships. Why? Because we all know that more effective communication builds better relationships, and better relationships builds better families, better communities, and better business. So today we're taking a little step away, but I promise I'm going to bring us back to what this has to do with communication. And our question today is seizing joy. What are we waiting for? Seizing joy. What are we waiting for? Many years ago, I was in the start of a sales career, and it was so grueling. I continued to offer sales presentations, and I kept losing. Sales presentation, I'd come home crushed. And probably about 6 to 8 months into this just absolute treacherous path, I got on the phone one Friday afternoon with a dear friend of mine, one who was very successful in this industry, and he gave me some advice. He said, TH, you can't get too high and you can't get too low. You can't take the wins up to the heavens and you can't take the losses down and let your soul be crushed. You just got to kind of ride it easy. So for about 2 weeks, I kind of rode it easy, and I tried to take this very respected professional's advice. And after about 2 weeks, I said to myself, this is not me. This is not how I roll. I am made to experience joy with all my might. When I lose, I'm going to cry. But when I win, I'm going to roll those windows down, crank up Shania Twain, and dance my way home in the car. Some of you have heard me tell this story before, but through my studies of the brain, here's what I've learned. It's not just me. It is all of us. We are wired to embrace joy at every opportunity. So my goal for us today is that we leave here with a new practice, a little bit more intention, eyes wide open, seeking opportunities to embrace joy at every turn. What I've uncovered through years and years of studying, as you all have heard me, many of you have heard me talk about neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, but I've uncovered over the past 3 or 4 years something called anandamide. And anandamide is naturally generated within us, and it gives us a feeling of joy, of bliss. Now, I want to be clear about something. What I'm not talking about is slowing down and smelling the roses. That might be one way to absolutely embrace joy, but it's not the only way. We can have a fast-paced, beautiful life and take moments to treasure and experience joy. Many, many years ago, philosophers way back to Greek mythology, they tried to study the difference between happiness and pleasure and joy. And a long, long, long time ago, a philosopher by the name of Aristotle believed that hedonistic pleasure, if you just could accumulate enough pleasure, enough glasses of wine and exercises and great music and whatever brings you that instant pleasure, he believed that if you could just keep accumulating that you would be happy. But many people dispelled that notion. And I think deep down, we all know that as many muffins as we eat and as many moments of pleasure to all of our senses, that does not bring us joy. And that's where the study of and the conflict of something called eudaimonism, eudaimonic pleasure. And that is pleasure that is rooted in purpose. So it's different than hedonism, just pure pleasure. It's rooted in purpose. And here's where I think we get stuck in today's world. People talk about, I need a purpose. I need to know my purpose. We can absolutely embrace joy from any moment that has any purpose. It's not all about just this one single solitary mission and purpose. Certainly I subscribe to knowing what it is that you stand for, what you're driving for, but we have many things that matter to us. As a matter of fact, the number one thing that unites every human across this globe is that we need to matter. That is a universal value. We need to matter. So when we remember that, we stop and think about for a moment what matters to us. And then all of a sudden, the world lights up with opportunities to seize joy. So I'm going to share something, which I promised, if any of you read my posts, I sent out a few emails and a Facebook post about sharing something from a memoir that I'm writing. It's a little bit longer of a story, but my hope is that you will just snuggle in, listen to the story, and remember it as you venture out into the world today and beyond and look for opportunities for joy. Last thing I want to say about this before I share this story is, what are we waiting for? What are we afraid of? There is scientific proof that we fear joy. Did you know that? We fear it. We're afraid we won't come back from it. We're afraid like we just can't eat one Lay's potato chip. It's like that. Like we're afraid when we come crashing down. But this is learned behavior. Think about a child on a swing set. Why are we not still on swing sets? When I see a swing set that will hold my flat butt, I stop the car and I get on a swing. You can ask my husband, but we forget to swing. That's just pure unbridled joy. We have conditioned ourselves to do what my friend said and just kind of take things mild. I want to challenge us to seize joy, feel the pain and seize the joy. So I'm going to share a reading. It's from chapter 10 of the memoir that I'm writing, and it's called Life Minutes. And this was back in about, my son was 17, my daughter Caroline was 15, and my youngest daughter Holly was 13. And our daughter Caroline had had seizures going on now over 3 years. Our family was in so much trauma. I was trying to hold on to healing our family along with my husband, Billy. I was looking for answers to stop these seizures, trying to take care of a business, trying to take care of a little girl who lost her place as the baby in the family. As we watched Caroline's brain deteriorate and be bullied at school, we were living in trauma. And I was not a joyful woman. So before I read you this, one more caveat. I do need to tell you that I'm not a proponent of the rodeo. But this was a long time ago, and I want to tell you who I am a proponent of, and that is my family. So here is an excerpt from my memoir, Chapter 10, Life Minutes. A light orange dust is thick in the air. The crowd of wannabe cowboys is stomping, spitting, and cupping their mouths as they holler from the metal bleachers. Get it, boy, or rope her, little mama. But mostly they whoop from their bellies, ooh-wee, letting the wee gurgle and sing out from the back of their throats. I can smell leather, tobacco, popcorn, hot dogs, and manure. The announcer is relentless. He yells into the microphone, just look at her go. She roped that little baby like she was born on a horse. That little sister is going places, y'all. The crowd, the announcer, the animals, and the Garth Brooks tunes all wail in tandem, producing the symphony of rodeo. Passion can be intoxicating. Wilson seems to live for bulls and broncos lately. He has declared that he will be a bull rider for life, a renegade, and a nomad. Before this became his obsession, I had never stepped foot into a rodeo. No doubt I never would have either, but Wilson's passion and his dedication to mastering the 8-second ride was exhilarating. Billy, my husband, Holly, Caroline, and I remain arm-locked on the bottom bleacher. The four of us are racing with adrenaline and ferocious love for Wilson. It's an all-consuming, heat-charged energy. As I sit on that bleacher, holding Caroline extra close, I look over at Holly's smile. She's not watching the rodeo, though. She's watching her brother. She can't see his face because my one deal breaker before supporting this insane sport is that he had to wear a helmet. And due to the symphony of rodeo, she can't hear him either, but she can see him. With her eyes, she can feel that he is smiling, alive with anticipation and unbridled jubilation. He is slapping other cowboys with encouragement. He throws his head back in laughter. He bounces, he stretches, he adjusts his chaps, snaps his glove, and taps his spurs. A fierce feeling of gratitude comes over me. My heart leaps with happiness. It's joy. This is joy. I hear Garth Brooks murmur, the thunder rolls. I want to celebrate. In this moment, I am overcome with love and joy, nothing more. I think to myself, I'm taking it. I'm roping this in. No caution, no thoughts of yesterday or tomorrow. This is joy, and I'm taking it. I reach over, grab Holly's face, and smooch in her whole cheek. I let go of her arm, pick up her hand, and kiss the little knuckles that she knows I've always adored. She rolls her big brown eyes, but she can't conceal her smile or deny the bonded happiness of this moment. I rub my thumb over her little knuckles again, and Garth Brooks roars on. Deep in her heart, the thunder rolls. People often ask, what triggers Caroline's seizures? I always answer the same way. Activity, noise, stress, excitement, basically life. Getting off the couch and living life, that's what triggers Caroline's seizures. And the more stress or excitement, the more chance for a seizure heightens. So it's no wonder Caroline has never made it through a rodeo without having a seizure. Billy and I are on guard. We keep glancing at each other, locking each of our arms a little more tightly around Caroline. It's as if to say, together, we've got this. And we do. The best we can hope for is that she has the seizure long enough before Wilson rides so that her postictal state will have subsided and she can see her brother bust out of the chute and try to ride that bull. Many times she misses the ride completely and is then crushed. But on a few occasions, she gets lucky. The seizure comes during the calf roping or the bronco riding, and she has a chance to recover. Today is a lucky day. We feel her stiffen and we are there and ready. Holly puts her head down and Billy and I brace and protect Caroline with our bodies. After about 90 seconds of convulsions, she starts slurping and gasping for air. I check her jeans quickly. Good, they're dry. Holly pulls a hand towel from a giant purse and I wipe the drool and sweat from her face. After about 4 more minutes, she starts to realize where she is. She half cries, half moans in a slurred speech. Mom, did I miss it? Did I miss Wilson? Holly comforts her big sister. No, Caroline, look, see, he's over there, still all clean and getting ready. You didn't miss it. You will get to see him ride today. The announcer informs us that it's time for the finale, the main event, the bull riders. Holly and I squeeze each other with excitement and patter our toes back and forth on the bleacher's footrest. What? Asked Caroline. What did he say? Is it time for Wilson? Almost, Billy and I say in unison. And with that, she yells, "Go, Wilson, go, Wilson. You're the best bull rider and the best brother in the world." This random outburst doesn't even bother Holly today. We don't know the people there. We are all together to cheer for the big brother. Today, we feel cage-free. We start to sway slightly together and sing along with Waylon and Willie, getting louder as we go. Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys. The announcer interrupts and calls out the lineup. Wilson is 6th out of 7 riders. After the 5th rider, we still don't have an 8-second ride. I look back to try and see his face, but I can only see determination emanating from his tense body. I see him put in his mouthpiece. We watch as he climbs over the chute and carefully lowers himself down over the bull. The beast is raging. He snarls and stomps. He bangs his shoulder into the side of the chute, and he uses his horns to try and break the door. Wilson is balanced over him. He runs his one gloved hand up and down the rope, heating the rosin for optimum stickiness. I can see his forearm muscles ripped and taut, veins bulging. The 6th rider makes 7 seconds, and the announcer continues. Okay, everybody, that was close, but no. Up next, we have a young rider to keep our eyes on. It's Wilson Heaton from Watkinsville, Georgia. Let's see what this young cowboy can do. We see Wilson expertly tether his left hand to the hot, sticky rope. He yells, "Pull!" to the rope attendant. Again, he yells, "Pull!" The attendant pulls the rope tighter still. We all hold our breath and squeeze each other. Wilson lowers his body down on top of the bull. He leans out over the huge horns and gives the official nod. The clock starts and the gate flings open. We stand and cheer with all our might. "Do it, baby. Do it, Wilson. Hang on, baby. You got this," I yell. The bull is furious. He spins and flings his massive butt into the air. His feet thud back down and Wilson hangs on, one hand flying up in the air. He bucks again, front to back, and then he tries again to throw Wilson off by spinning in the other direction and bucking at once. It's 6 seconds in. Wilson starts to slide, but he uses the next leap to pull back up to the center of the bull's back and grip again with his boots. And then the horn blows. It was an 8-second ride. On the drive back home, we are all still fueled by Wilson's endorphins. He relives every second for us, describing how and why he could predict the bull's maneuvers. Caroline continues to tell Wilson that she got to watch and that she thinks he is the best bull rider in the world. He takes time to listen and thank her. Holly was bubbling with pride too. "Wilson, I could see your hands slipping. I was screaming for you to hold on. I was like, 'Hold on, Wilson, hold on.' I felt like I couldn't breathe. I wanted you to hold on so bad, and you did it." I watch Holly continue her praise as I think about my last conversation with her. We gave Holly her first cell phone for her birthday, and I had become annoyed at how she could just sign off from calls with no warning or even saying goodbye. She would just end the call as soon as the conversation no longer served her needs. So I called her out on it. I explained to her that you can't just hang up on people, and especially not your mother. "Why do you do that?" I asked. "You just end the call with no thank you, no see you later, no I love you." Without hesitation, she answered, "I just don't want to waste my minutes, Mom." "Holly, we have a family plan," I explained. "It comes with unlimited minutes. You don't have to worry about that." And she said, "No, Mom, I mean my life minutes. I don't want to waste my life minutes." I sit in this car and remember that conversation. How did a 13-year-old girl come to treasure life minutes? I think to myself, damn right, baby, life minutes matter. We cannot waste our life minutes. When joy is within our grasp, we must seize it. We have to fearlessly embrace the gifts that life dangles before us. We should stay acutely aware of the value of life minutes. We must not wait for tough times to be in the rearview mirror. We must celebrate now. With all our might, we should celebrate every life minute worth treasuring. And so we just have another minute or two, and I want to open it up for questions.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much. What I want to share, which has something to do with communication, but mostly with the way we experience life, is this. On that day, I learned what a gift joy is. And ever since that day, It has become my practice, and I still have not perfected it. I keep it a focus. I keep it in my heart. I know it's in there. I have fear of joy, just like we all do. But I keep it a practice. I try not to be afraid. A treasured friend, a respected chiropractor, actually said this to me recently. I was explaining to him that I have this fiery need to share my joy, and I always find myself kind of tempering it. And he asked me why. He said, God gave that to you. It's your gift. Let it spew out into the world. And I remember that conversation because we each have gifts. We each have ways that we experience joy. I actually have the 6 S's of how to experience joy on this earth. And I will share that with you all on another day, because right now I want to open it up to some comments and some questions and conversation. And then I'll wrap this up with one last thing about joy. If you're not feeling it, this is where we lean into my Talk to the Brain teachings. If you're not feeling joy, the very best way to grasp it is to give it to other people. When you remind people that you're listening, you give them something called serotonin. They feel proud, they feel heard. When you take the time to be vulnerable, to share things that are not so easy, you elevate something called oxytocin. You build love in others. We have the ability with our words and our nonverbal communication and our actions to elevate joy and anandamides in others. We have that ability. So if you're not feeling it, I ask you, put out into the world what you want to get back and see how your life transforms. So I can keep talking, or we can have questions and comments.
My beautiful friend, you have blessed me today.
Oh, thank you. I can't even see who is saying that. Who is that?
I have my video.
Holly. I'm glad. I'm so glad. I hope you all remember this story. It is a true story, and Billy Heaton can attest.
It's beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. I thank you so much.
Tara, you gave me 2 beautiful reminders. Firstly, that to really experience joy, you have to be present. But more importantly to that, the best way to feel it is to give it. And that's a beautiful, beautiful reminder. And I thank you for that.
Thank you for putting that into words, Maxwell, because it's the little things. Like, we could go out for a walk and say, okay, I got to get this walk in. I'm probably going to make a phone call while I'm out here. Or we could go out, we could walk, we could leave the phone at home, and it could be a little celebration of our health, right? Think about the difference in that 30 minutes of what we can gain from that. And you said it, being truly intentional in the moment and treasuring what it is, whatever it is within our grasp. Tough times are inevitable, right? Caroline was going to have more seizures. More shit was coming our way, wasn't it, Billy? But in that moment, nothing was standing in my way of seizing joy. Sorrel.
Oh my God, Tara, thank you. You had me all engaged and wrapped around the story. It's like, oh my God. And I want to share just one thing I'm taking away. I will endeavor to never again waste my life minutes. And so what I was present to, as you said, while I'm opening it up for questions, is that
Did he freeze, or is that me? He froze.
He didn't want to waste any other more minutes.
He didn't want to waste his life minutes.
can you hear me?
Lost you, Sorrel. Say it again.
You froze. So sorry, you froze.
Oh my God.
You said you weren't going to waste your life minutes, which
Now, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. I'm back. And I didn't want to waste my life minutes, and I realized I was about to waste them by not raising my hand and saying something. You know, like afraid that may I would say would not make a contribution. And I'm seeing how the many ways in which I waste my life minutes, and I'm grateful for what you brought to me today.
Thank you, Sorrel. That so touches me. We've been talking about life minutes for a lot of years, thanks to Holly. Geo.
Goodness. Oh my gosh. So beautiful, so vulnerable, so real, so all of it. The thing to say, Tara, that you probably can experience is that there is so much going on in my brain right now that is difficult to grasp what the experience is and put it in language from today's episode, from the story, from all of it. But I'm gonna attempt to say something right here and capture what my takeaways are. I don't want to waste my life minutes. That is so effing beautiful. I telling my mother that, and then my mother saying, that's a good point. without an argument. That is so beautiful. And the other thing, I love it. I love that. It's been so present to not get triggered by that. And then something I really loved about this story, and I want to capture that for myself, and I don't know in which direction I can, given the profoundness of that. But the being at the rodeo, and I could have an attack at any moment. I missed the whole thing. It's like, why am I going to be here? But not like, F it, I'm going to be here. And if I miss it, I miss it. If I don't, I don't. And I'm going to capture my life moment, however it comes, whether I miss the best moment of my life or whether I don't miss it. I'm still going to be here. It's just so great. And I want to continue going because this is so beautiful, but I'm going to stop here. Thank you for this beautiful, beautiful morning.
I'm so glad it touched you. I just, like I say, I think it's a practice. And I know Penny has a 9:30 yoga class and she's got her hand up. You're on mute, darling.
Yes, thank you. I didn't want my seatbelt to keep beeping. So I have to go in 2 minutes, but I just wanted to say that your story touched me so much. I started bawling, crying. I had to pull over on the side of the road, but I was crying tears of joy. And I don't remember doing that often, but your story just moved me so much. I was there with you. I was smelling everything. I was feeling everything. I was there with you and your children. I was literally feeling all of that joy. And then when Caroline had a seizure, I just thought, oh my goodness, and you're still feeling that joy, even in that moment that I can't even grasp. And if you can continue to feel that joy, I can pretty much be able to deal with anything if I know you can get through that and still be there in that moment, that present now moment, and share that with your family. So thank you so much for sharing.
You know, thank you, Penny. Billy and I have always said that if we don't share our journey, the suffering is for naught. And when we share it and it touches somebody in a positive way, it's what matters. So thank you. Thank you all.
It was beautiful.
All right, go do your yoga. Get your Zen on.
Bye-bye.
I can offer one last tip because a couple, Geo, I think you said it was kind of overwhelming. I hope in a positive way, but I'm going to just reinforce something because as I know, the brain needs some clear reinforcement. And the reinforcement is this: the opportunity to experience joy and give it to other people is at our fingertips every moment of every day. And when we feel anxious, when we don't feel that we are taking the most advantage of our life minutes, stop and maybe even just a little practice of gratitude. When I put the plates in the cabinet and I hear them clink, and I just remind myself how grateful I am for the dishwasher, little things. Last night, I looked at my husband and I just said, I cannot believe that I'm still this much in love with you after all these years, how grateful I am to have you in my life. And we got some tough things that we deal with, but we have to look for joy and take the time to treasure them. I'm not suggesting slowing down. I'm not suggesting dusting off your pain. Pain matters. We have to let it in order to let it free. We have to feel pain feeling pain lets us feel joy. And what we're doing, I feel, is we're fighting off both. We've got to let them both in. We've got to understand that we will rise again from pain, and that that will help us to reach joy in a greater way than we've ever known before. The brain gets used to things. How many of you, just raise your hand, saw fireworks on the 4th of July? Imagine this. I was beside Caroline watching fireworks, and her face lit up like I haven't seen, and I cannot remember when. But if we see fireworks every Friday night, the thrill of it is gone, right? That's why we have to keep looking. The brain eventually will be like, wow, more fireworks. The brain has to keep growing and exploring and discovering and deciding we don't know it all, so that we can experience new messages, new experiences that give us joy. So make it a practice. That's what I hope you will take from today. I hope you will remember the story at the rodeo, and don't go to rodeos. I hope you'll remember Wilson and Caroline and Holly. So with that, I am going to end 1 minute late. I apologize, with our 7 tenets, each of which I embrace with my whole heart. And the first one is love. Love with all your might. Let it infuse joy into your life. Laugh, throw that head back, let those endorphins go, and just laugh out loud. That will help you to stress less. That will help you to sleep better. Eat more plants. That fuels your body in a better way. And give. When you don't feel like you have anything, you have something in your heart to give. And finally, move that body. Move what your mama gave you. Thank you all for being here. I hope you will think about making the Daily Huddle your habit and your practice. It certainly has given a lot to me in my life. I thank you all and hope to see you tomorrow at Spiritual Matters.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Tara. Thank you,
Thank you
Tara.
all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Huddle family.
Thank you.